Good morning, kids. Today we'll start with a new topic, that is photosynthesis. This is a topic related to plants, and this is a topic related to food. Yes, food which is being eaten or which has been taken by plants. This is interesting, right? So let's move on to the topic. I'll tell you what is photosynthesis. Just move on with me with the slides. I'll explain you one by one, and then we'll get to know that what is photosynthesis. Let's move on to the slide. Let's start with the process of photosynthesis. So, why do we eat food? I have a question for you. Why do we eat food? Maybe you will feel hungry, or maybe you want to eat, you want to munch something. No, we also need food for the growth and the development of our body. Therefore, likewise, even plant needs some food items, some process for their growth and their development. As we see, the small sapling is being converted into a big, as it is also a growth of a plant. So therefore, a small seed, when it grows to a big plant, it has some growth and development, and it also acquires some food items which is needed. Now, can you tell me which all food items is needed for the growth and development of the plant? I have an hint over here. If you can tell me, please do tell me. Now, let's move on to the next slide, by which I'll tell you what is photosynthesis. So first thing is, what is photosynthesis? Photosynthesis, this is a big word, okay, but this is a process. This is a process of making food for the plants. Now, first I'll explain you what is photosynthesis. Now I'll divide this photosynthesis in two parts, two smaller parts. One is photo and other is synthesis. Photo means light and synthesis means putting together, mixing up together, taking everything together. Now, plant need food, but they do not have to wait on people, as we cook our food and take it on, right? And even animals to provide for them. Even animals are dependent on the other animals or the plants, right? But plants just cannot be dependent on someone else, as they have to make their own food, and whenever they need it, they make it on their own. Yes. So, how does this is possible? Yes, this is possible because this is done using light, and the process, the method by which they make their own food is called photosynthesis. So photo means what? Light. Synthesis means putting up together, or the method. And what is needed for making the food? Light. And there are some more things which is needed for the process of making food, that is carbon dioxide and water. So for the process of making food for the plants, they need three things. What are the three things? Sunlight, carbon dioxide and water. Now, sunlight it takes from the sun. Yes, sunlight is being provided by the sun. Water is being provided as we plant, as we pour water on plants, so therefore they absorb by the roots, and also when it rains they absorbs. Okay. Next, carbon dioxide. The third one is carbon dioxide, which is needed, that they absorb by the air, by the surrounding air, because in the surrounding air there is so much of carbon dioxide present, and that is being absorbed by the plants with the help of the leaves. I'll tell you how they absorb in the next slide. First, let me explain you how the water is absorbed in the plant. They take water from the roots and it moves upward, and it flows from the root to the each and every part of the plant. So therefore we can see the plant growing from each and every manner, from the stem to the branches to the leaves to the fruits and to the flowers. So therefore, as it takes water, it takes sunlight, it takes carbon dioxide, when everything is putting together, it makes their own food and it has its growth and development. Okay, now you must have understood what is photosynthesis and what does it mean And what are the things which are required for the process of photosynthesis, the method of photosynthesis. Now we'll learn the definition of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is the process by which plant make their own food. Now, as we can see, if we put a seed into it, when water comes into it, sunlight comes into it, and also the gas which is present in the air, that is carbon dioxide, comes into it, everything is put it together, the plant starts growing, and then it becomes into a big tree, and therefore the growth and development occurs into the plants when they make their own food, and the process is called photosynthesis. Photosynthesis also requires so much thing for their process and their method. So for making food for the plants, they need some items. What items? Food items. Yes. So it can be ingredients also can be called. So there are some things which has to be needed for the process of photosynthesis, and what are those? Let's move on to this. So what is needed for photosynthesis? We will just discuss. To make food, plant need three things. What I said? Plant need three things: carbon dioxide, water and sunlight. Okay. Now, as I told you, water is being absorbed by the roots. Sunlight does come from the sun. Now, let's take a look at how these are collected by the plants and how they react. Now, carbon dioxide from the air passes through small pores. So, we have a leaf over here, okay, and in this leaf we have a small open pores which can be seen under the microscope. There are small open pores, and these can be called in a simple language are the windows. By we can see that the open pores are there, and these are called as stomata, and by the help of this the carbon dioxide enters and the oxygen comes outward. Water is absorbed by the roots and passes through the vessels in the stems and on its way to the leaves. So therefore, from the stems they have the vessels, from there the water grows or water flows over there and it provides to the other part of the plant. Sunlight is absorbed by a green chemical in the leaves. So sunlight is absorbed by the leaves, and according to that, why do we see the green color? Because there is a chemical present over there which is called as a chlorophyll, and because of that chlorophyll the leaf appears green. So as you have heard that plant needs so much things for their growth and their development. So according to that, we also have to know that what happens during the process of photosynthesis. What happens during photosynthesis? What are the things which happens during photosynthesis? The photosynthesis is a process takes place in the leaves of the plant. Especially whatever process we are learning today, that process actually occurs in the leaf. As I told you that the open pores, that is called as stomata, takes inside the carbon dioxide and leaves oxygen. So therefore, the process of photosynthesis also takes place in the leaves only, and the leaves are made up of very small cells and which are very tiny structure, and they are called as a chloroplast. And each chloroplast contains a green chemical. Just now I said a green chemical, and that chemical is called as a chlorophyll, which gives a green color to the plant, to the leaf. So therefore, because of that chemical, it gives a green color to the leaf, and this chlorophyll absorbs the sun's energy. So whatever chlorophyll contains in the leaf, it absorbs the sunlight, and therefore the photosynthesis appears or it occurs with the help of water and the sunlight and the carbon dioxide, and as the process occurs, oxygen is released. Now we have a process, or I have a chart for you, that is sunlight plus carbon dioxide plus water. So three things are needed. for the process of photosynthesis, and it makes what? Oxygen. But with oxygen, it also makes glucose. Glucose also it makes, that is also called as sugar. Okay. Now, it is this energy that is used to split water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen. So, when sunlight, carbon dioxide and water appears to each other or they combine with each other, they go with the process of photosynthesis and they make food in the form of glucose and oxygen. Okay, oxygen is released from the leaves into the atmosphere. Just now I just said oxygen is released from the leaves into the atmosphere. Hydrogen and carbon dioxide are used to form glucose, and glucose is what? It's food. So, carbon dioxide and hydrogen. Hydrogen means water. Carbon dioxide and hydrogen means water. It forms glucose, and that is the food of the plant. Some of the glucose is used to provide energy for the growth and development of the plant, while the rest of the glucose is stored in the leaves for the later use. Later use means when the fruits will appear, when the flowers will appear. For that process, it stores some glucose and that is being used for the next process. So this is called a whole process of photosynthesis, where just a simple thing is what? Photosynthesis means photosynthesis is, photo is light, synthesis means putting together everything, and what all those are putting together? That is sunlight, carbon dioxide and water undergoes the process of photosynthesis, makes the food, that is glucose and oxygen. Glucose is formed in the form of formation of the food, that is being stored also in the leaves, and also oxygen is released. So wasn't it interesting? As we eat food, the plants also need food for their growth and development. So I hope you have understood now all the points related to photosynthesis, and if you have any questions, please do let me know. Thank you.